Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Tried and Tested podcast. I am your host, Tracey. And if you are not familiar with my podcast, it is a dating and relationship forum where I discuss all things relationships, all things love, marriage, money, dates, anything that you can think of in regards to relationships in this day and age. And so today I have a special guest, my boo Amanda. Say hey, Amanda.
Hi. Hey, guys. Hi.
So thank you so much for joining us today. And so without further ado, we're going to jump right into the topic. So the topic today is outside friendships and relationships. So I don't know if anyone else has experienced this before, but typically we all have friends or our partners have friends. And when you end up in a relationship, sometimes there may be some issues with these friends. So, Amanda, I don't know if this ever happened to you, but first and foremost, what is your definition of a friend?
Okay, my definition of a friend is somebody who is trustworthy, somebody who is supportive, somebody that you have, like, common interests with, somebody that you can have fun with, somebody just with, like, positive vibes, whether it doesn't really matter their, like, ethnicity. They can be white, Indian, African, Spanish. It's just somebody that you can vibe with.
Okay, all right.
Male or female.
Gotcha. All right, so now you described a friend. So when you get into a relationship, does that relationship with your friend change at all or no?
No. I don't think that your friendship should change based off your relationship if you're in a relationship, because most of the times you have the friendship before you start the relationship. However, I do think that there are boundaries.
Okay, so the friendship shouldn't change, but there should be boundaries on the friendship, basically.
Yeah. Like boundaries such as, like, respect, like, you know.
Yeah, not doing too much. But we're going to get into that, though. So, so how do you feel about friends of the opposite sex? So obviously I'm sure we've both been in relationships where we've had someone we're dating, and whether it's them or us, we've had friends of the opposite sex. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, let me go back. Let me explain things. So rewind. Okay. So friends of the opposite sex can be very, very picky. It can be controversial because it's really weird, because with me, most of my male friends, most of my male friends are guys that used to try to talk to me in the past. I'm just going to be straightforward, because I'm a girly girl, so I automatically attract girls to be friends with. I've never been the type to attract guys to be friends with. That's just my nature. So most of the time, if I have a male friend, it's maybe I probably met them through my partner, or we used to probably talk in the past and we just ended up being friends. You know what I'm saying? So when I talk about boundaries, I feel like with females it's okay, because, my best friend, like, she can hit me up at like 12 midnight, like, yo, I got to tell you something. That's different, But if you have a male friend that's hitting you up around those type of the hours of the night, that's the problem.
Okay, you mean in a relationship, though?
In a relationship, yeah, if you're in a relationship.
Okay, so even before I even get to my question, so basically, I wouldn't even consider those friends. So basically, if the male of the opposite sex is your friend, but that was somebody who tried to talk to you, that's not really a friend. It's somebody that's kind of waiting. They're waiting until they have the opportunity to get in. Is that not it?
I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. That makes a lot of sense. However, it can be just somebody that you guys just had a mutual understanding, like, okay, you know what? We're just friends. Like, my sister is really weird. Like, my sister, she has more male friends than female friends. That's just always been her nature. Like, I remember growing up, Nadia, growing up, she always had a lot of male friends, but that's just how she was. But, like, now that I'm older, she told me, like, oh, I used to talk to him, or we used to, like, but it wasn't, and now they have, like, a mutual understanding that, like, okay, I'm married now, I have a family now, we're just strictly friendship. It's just a strictly friendship, nothing more.
See, I don't know. Like, okay, I agree, or I used to agree with that, but now I feel like, so I'm someone who, I guess when I was younger, I had more male friends than female friends, or maybe it was half and half. I don't really know. But now, like, I'm 32, and I do have, like, so I feel like my guy friends that I've had them since middle school, right? And so now I'm 10 years out of college, so therefore we've been friends for a long time. But I feel like that is like a legit, genuine friendship. Like those are my boys and whatnot.
Yeah, because it was like innocent. It was an innocent type of like friendship, right?
Yes, definitely. So I feel like with that, it's okay. But even with those innocent type friendships, like when they get girlfriends, because I know we're so tight, just knowing who I am, I kind of would back off a little bit. Like, I'm not going to call you at midnight like I used to. I'm not going to text you and call you all day because you have respect for the relationship. You know what I mean? But, yeah, so that was my question for you, I guess. How do you feel about friends of the opposite sex? So if you're dating somebody and friends of my No, go ahead.
This is my intake on this. I'm not too fond of it, okay, because females are shady. Some females, they don't care if they're the side chick. Us females in nature, we just are naturally like attention seekers, you know. Females are attention seekers. A lot of females they have like that mentality, oh, I don't care, he's still giving me attention anyway. And before you know it, the female friend is giving you the attitude just because of just like our territorial traits, you know. So I'm not too fond of female. Okay, oh, my man got a friend, that's his friend. They knew each other since they were. No, I don't care. I believe that there has to be boundaries. Like, once you know that your male friend is in a relationship, I believe you need to take a few steps back on just the friendship. Not like, hey, you can't be his friend anymore or whatever, but there has to be respect.
Yes.
A lot of friendships, like, male or female, if you've noticed, do you personally still talk to your kindergarten? I have one of my best friends. I've known her since I was in first grade, right? But we grew up, but we kind of like we grew apart, but not like in a bad way. Like every Christmas, every holiday, every birthday, we still text each other like, oh, happy birthday or Merry Christmas or how's your mom? You see, as you grow up, you get more mature in friendship. So like if it's to the point that you're still constantly calling that person or you still constantly need attention from that person, something is wrong with you, I think. Like, not wrong in a bad way, but I feel like there's something lacking if you haven't grown out of, like, a friendship. I'm not saying grow out in a bad way, just that there's limits. You know, like, you notice that, like, me, if you think about it, Tracey, do you still be having, like, girls' nights every other weekend? Like, you grow out of that phase in life, you know? So I feel like once you get into a relationship, the opposite sex friendship, that there has to be a limit to that.
Yeah, and I do think it's a bad way. Like, I feel like, because there's no way that I'm dating somebody and we're together and your homegirl is that needy, because if she needs you that much, you giving her something more than friendship.
Exactly.
Like, that's the way I would look. Yeah.
Exactly. And I had, exactly, like, I had a personal experience in the past where I was dating somebody and they had a female friend. And I knew it was all genuine because it's kind of like, oh, we grew up together, you know, our parents know each other. Blah, blah, blah. But the girl, she was just a little bit too needy in terms of, like, for some reason she always wanted to talk to him about her personal problems. Mind you, the girl didn't have a man. She didn't have, like, I don't really know her social life or whatever, but she still felt the need to still have to talk to the guy that I was dating for some reason, even though in both of their eyes, it was kind of like, oh, no, she's like my sister, or, you know, we knew each other from back in the day. No, I feel like it was that girl's responsibility to have respect, you know, like, it's really like, okay, he's in a relationship now, like, why are you still seeking his attention? Why are you still seeking his advice? Like, no.
Well, I feel like, okay, so it's her responsibility, but it's really, I feel like, the partner's responsibility, because I feel
you know, it's true. Yeah.
Because I feel like both of them, like for me, like I said, when I look at one of my, like, so I have two best friends who are guys. One of them who lives near me or whatever, like I feel like with him, like sometimes he's just very friendly, touchy-feely, but he's been like that for over 20 years. So I don't think anything of it, but I know that I'm a woman. And so if I know you're dating somebody and they can see what you're doing, I'll make sure, like, hey, like, so they could tell, like, I ain't feeling this man, like, we just friends, you know, that kind of thing. But, yeah, I feel like it's the partner's responsibility to show respect to me, you know, that, hey, like, if you don't like this, or not a fact, you shouldn't even have to say that you don't like it. They should be able to tell, yes. But I know that men and women, yes, but I know men and women do think differently. And so, like I said, with my friend, I feel like when you're so touchy-feely, like, don't you see what's going on? Like, do you not care that your girlfriend is here? But, like I said, we're all different beings. So that's definitely something, like, when I think of friendships of the opposite sex, I don't think I've dated anybody that I can think of. I lied. No, I have dated somebody, like, way back in the day where, like, you know, you have these females around you that you claim are your friends, but the reality was they were not his friends. Like, the people that you were messing with. So it's kind of like, how do you differentiate between friends and probably being cheated on?
Friends and being cheated on, like, explain that. Like, you mean like the friendship that turned into something different?
No, like basically friendship outside of a relationship. Like some of these women or men are not really friends. Like they are.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm not too for the friendship with opposite sex, because it turns into something different. I had with my past experience with the same exact people that I'm talking about. Me and the guy had eventually like broke up or whatever, and him and the girl started messing around. So it's
boy, so they probably were all along.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing about it is that, like, you know, you may be a female that, oh, he's just my friend. You call him with your problems or your personal issues, and then females will start to have feelings because, you know, a female always is looking for somebody to talk to or somebody who's going to listen. So once you get that attention, you know, you go head over heels. Like, oh, my gosh, like, he cares about me. Blah, blah, blah. So the girl was going through some type of issue, and she confided in my ex or whatever, and we broke up, and they started messing around. So I'm like, you know what? That's why I'm not really for that whole, like, opposite sex friendship.
Yeah, because I feel like that opens the door. That definitely opens the door.
Yes. So you can be friends with your female cousins. You can be cordial friends with your you know, your coworkers at work, but when it comes to the point where that female is hitting you up, seeking advice, or looking for a shoulder to cry on, and if she has to call you, it's turned into something else. That's not friendship. That's like a little bit. It's like an emotional attachment now.
Yeah, and I feel like that's on both parties. So I definitely agree with that. So do you think that, like, so basically, like, if you met a man and you guys started dating, like, how early on do you need to know that he has invested his time in these friendships and they're not going away, that they may actually make you comfortable? So
you know, that's a tricky question, because you don't want to come across like you're that controlling girlfriend or you're that girlfriend that's insecure or jealous or whatnot. I say early in the phase when you guys are talking. Like, when you guys are talking, you know, getting to know each other, I think it's respectful enough to be like, yeah, you know, I have a best friend, or one of my good friends is a girl. Blah, blah, blah. So, like, when that person tells you that from the jump, you already know what you're getting yourself into. Like,
okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like, not like, okay, I'm emotionally involved in this relationship, and out of nowhere, this chick is no. I need to know from the jump, like, you know, who are your friends? What do you like to do in leisure time? Who's your best? Like, you get that. I feel like that's all about getting to know somebody.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you're right. Some people do pop up and they be like best friend, and you be like, wait, I've been dating him a year, I've never seen you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you can let me know now so I can be friends with her too. You know, we can all go out together if we like, but not like out of nowhere now. Somebody's hitting you up like, oh, can I talk? No, I need to know early.
Yes, no, I definitely agree. Like, no pop-ups, no new people.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned something about insecurity. But yeah, but do you feel like with that, does it make you look insecure to the man, or do you feel like if you get to the point of insecurity, it's because of something that you saw?
You know what? That is a tricky question because it does come across like you're insecure. Like, okay, but I'm with you. What is it? What does it matter if I talk to her? No, I don't think it's not insecurity. It's just called like boundaries and respect. Because I feel like if roles were reversed, if I had a male friend that was constantly seeking my attention or wanted to call me or text me at weak hours of the day, I feel like my partner will feel the same way, like, okay, damn, like, what's up with that? You know where I'm coming from?
Right.
I don't think it's like
and I've
really...
had that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that before. Like, I remember, like, this was years ago. I think I was talking to somebody or something, and somebody had hit me up late at night. And I remember, like, the way the man was looking at me, like, I was like, bro, like, but I guess, like, that is the norm. If somebody's hitting you up late at night, it's not your friend. If somebody's calling you late at night, it's not your friend.
Exactly. So, it's not. Like I said, if that friend, that so-called friend was a real friend, they will automatically know that that's not appropriate. You know, like, I'm not going to hit him up at this time of the day. It's just not respect. So
it's disrespectful. And I'm funny enough, back in the day, we got to make a disclaimer. I had an instance with trifling tendencies, right? And so I remember there was a guy like that I liked or whatever, and he claimed that he was with this girl. He really didn't, he really wasn't into her. They really weren't doing it, whatever. And I remember, like, I used to be very disrespectful. So, like, yes, I was supposed to be the friend allegedly, but the reality is that, like, okay, I do want your man. If he is your man or whatever y'all got going on, I do want him. So, therefore, like, the disrespect that I showed by calling you whenever or is because of what he portrayed you to be to me.
Exactly. And it just puts a lot of tension in between the relationship. And like I said, like, females, it's just sad. We're just, in nature, that's just how we are. We're really territorial. We crave attention. Well, I don't want to say every female, but it's just a natural female state, So
yes.
So
and females are crazy. Like, they'll have their friends watch you. Like, it starts to get get crazy. So yes, but men are too. I mentioned that two of my best friends are guys, even though like we don't spend every waking moment together. We've been rocking out since middle school. I remember I was dating like my ex-boyfriend, and I remember like I was like, okay, I'm going to Camera House or whatever real quick. And so like we were just in the car talking. I was waiting for him to get off work, and lo and behold, he pulled up on us. Like and I'm like, oh, I thought you were still at work, but I'm sure he pulled up so he could see like I want to see what's really going on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's definitely a real thing. Men and women want to protect.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it's not because I'm the jealous type or I'm insecure. No, I just feel like men will be men and women will be women. I'm not a fan of that. You guys can be cordial. You guys.
No, I'm finished. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just overall. I'm not a fan of it. It's not my forte.
So would you be a fan of it though if you actually met the girl and you could see like they was like brother and sister, like you could see it, and she was respectful?
If she's respectful, yes, I'll say that's okay because like, hey, you can't say he can't talk to any female, If she's respectful and I know her personally and I know her intentions, I know his intentions, and if she got a man, that's fine. But if she doesn't have a man, that's when problems start because I just feel like when a female is single sometimes, whenever she has a close bond with a guy or a man, anything can happen.
But I've seen people who are in relationships and they still want somebody else's man. So I feel like whether they're single or not, it's more or less about your intention.
That's why I'm just saying overall, the whole opposite sex friendship needs to just be a cordial.
Just, yeah.
It's just too complicated. It leaves room for too many slip-ups. No. Like, because when you think about it, you have a friend. We have friends that, you start to confide in your friends. Like, oh my God, So if like some type of relationship issue starts to arise, and they start to confide in that friend, you're confiding in the opposite sex that's saying that they understand you. They understand what he's doing wrong, or he understands why he did it like that. You're going to start to automatically possibly start having feelings for that person, because they understand you. So.
No, that's facts. That's facts. And and I just want to say, though, too, like, I do not consider you a friend if we used to talk, date, mess, kiss, anything like that. I feel like that's not a real friend, because if it happened once, it could happen again. I don't care if it's 30 years later.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was some type of attraction there. So,
it's true.
But anyway, Amanda, so before we actually wrap up this episode, like, do you have any last words on friendship of the opposite sex outside of a relationship?
This is just my take. I'm not for it. I mean, you guys can be cordial, but if it's to the point that you're comfortable enough to text or call anytime during the day, I don't think it's appropriate. It's not really my thing.
And people be showing up, too. Like, they just be popping up at your house. Like, hey, best friend.
No, I'm your best friend. That's not your best friend. Like, what you talking about?
Oh, my God. Definitely. Well, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this episode with me.
No problem.
And before you go, what is your social media handle, so if anybody wants to get in contact with you or has any questions or whatever?
My Instagram is gingerbaby. It's GINGER_BAYYY.
Oh, okay.
You can also tag me. Can you tag me on this? Can you tag me?
Oh, yes.
No?
Yes.
Tag me on it. Yeah. Okay.
No problem. Fun. And to my listeners, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until next time, have a good one. Adios.
Bye. Bye.